From the Weather Norcal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Hello everyone. Well, that wet weather, it arrived pretty much right on time, of course, hitting the coast first. We're looking at a Crescent City Harbor District. We've got the wet weather out there. The winds have been blowing out there this morning. Now that the cold front has moved to the east, not quite as strong for the coast, but still looking at those gusty winds. We're looking out at Lake Oroville here. This is out near the Visitor Center, kind of overlooking the city here. There are the overcast skies. Not looking at any rain, at least a lot of rain just yet for most of us in the valley, although the north end of the valley has seen the bulk of the rain so far this morning. Taking a look at Lassen Park, this is out at the Visitor Center. We've got a lot of the low clouds out there, eventually probably looking at some snow later on this afternoon. Look at some of the peak gusts we did see, and it did exceed 40 miles per hour out in Crescent City, close to 30 miles per hour out at really the Arcata Airport there. 20 miles per hour in Hoopa. Now in the valley, we did see some gusty winds there, not quite reaching that 30 mile per hour mark, especially to the south of Redding, but certainly seeing some gusty winds, and those winds will continue to be gusty here through the rest of the afternoon. So of course the rain, as mentioned, will return today with those gusty winds and possible thunderstorms. No thunderstorms so far as of this morning, but that of course is going to change here as we go through the afternoon, potential at least. Off and on showers through the weekend, snow levels between 4,000 and 5,000 feet on average. I think it could get lower than that, especially as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning. And then the models are still trending towards a drier Easter Sunday, but still not entirely out of the question to see a few showers. We'll get into that a little bit later, but there you can see the chance for showers and thunderstorms here for today, mainly for the coast and for the valley, and not to mention Trinity County. Siskiyou, Modoc, and the eastern mountains mostly just looking at some of those showers eventually as we go through the afternoon, and not to mention into the evening hours. Here's the main area of low pressure. Here's the cold front that's associated with that. This is all moving eastward. As we get behind the cold front, especially for tonight and tomorrow, we'll be looking at cold and unstable air, and that is what's going to bring us a better chance for thunderstorms, especially as we go into tomorrow afternoon. All right, so we take a look at Futurecast. Here you can see that system kind of pushing itself eastward. Heavier rainfall by the mid-afternoon hours here for the valley, especially out towards Redding, but even Red Bluff getting some of that rain. But it looks like down towards Oroville, near Chico, seeing some showers, but for the most part being shadowed. And we have been shadowed for the most part for Red Bluff southward into Corning and Willows through a good portion of the morning hours. But later this afternoon, this will all push eastward, and eventually I think we'll see better chances for rain, and not to mention thunderstorms. Now at this point, as we go into the mid to late afternoon, we're looking at drier conditions for the north coast, as we'll be behind the cold front as it moves eastward. Eastern mountains by mid to late afternoon, we start to see better chances for rain there. Snow levels still around 4,000 to 5,000 feet before they lower to around 3,000 to 4,000 feet behind the cold front. And there you can see more snow, especially in the mountains. But again, we're behind the cold front at this point. We're dry for the valley, and we are still seeing a chance for a few showers here, even for the north coast later on this evening and tonight. Now, as we take you into your Thursday morning, again, we're just dealing with a cold and unstable atmosphere at this point. So when it's overnight and in the early morning hours, we're not getting a lot of what we call convection. We got to get some of that daytime heating before we start seeing a better chance for more of those widespread showers and thunderstorms. As you can see here, going into the noon hour, we're beginning to see better chances for thunderstorms developing, especially for Del Norte and Humboldt counties, but looks like even the north end of the valley could be looking at the potential for some of those thunderstorms continuing through the afternoon as this energy kind of pushes itself eastward. We're also still seeing snow levels between 3,000 and 4,000 feet on Thursday. This could, of course, create some chain requirements, mainly above 4,000 feet. Now, as we go into your Thursday, 10 o'clock, you notice on I-5 near Mount Shasta, we're seeing the potential for some of that snow out there, and that could continue. Look at this. This is Friday morning. I mean, look at the snow levels. They're getting rather low. I think this could be looking at snow levels probably closer to 3,000 feet and locally lower. But notice the bulk of the rain Friday morning is going to be along the coast. What's happening is the main area of low pressure is now down to our south and west. the flow around that low is really kind of aimed more towards the north and western portions of California, which is the reason why we're not seeing as much activity down into the central and eastern portions of Northern California. But as we go through the noon hour, we start to see that kind of work its way northward and coming in from the southeast. Now, it's showing here the potential for some heavier rainfall out towards towards Humboldt County, not to mention southern Trinity County, but overall, just some of those scattered showers. Not out of the question for a thunderstorm on Friday afternoon, but overall, I expect it to be mainly in the form of showers. In fact, we take a look at the chance for thunderstorms today. There you can see it there. It's going to be mainly confined for the valley and for the north coast as we take you into tomorrow. Rainfall estimates, I think we could see upwards of about a ½ an inch on average, although places like Red Bluff and Willows, since we're rain shadowed even for a good portion of the day today, not as much rain there, but more rain for the north end of the valley and more rain towards the east out towards Chico. Meanwhile, we take you out towards Crescent City and Eureka. I think you'll probably see over an inch of rainfall once all is said and done. And when we look at the forecast snow totals, you're seeing some pretty high amounts over the higher elevations above 5,000 feet where we could see 1 to 2 feet of snow. But of those lower elevation communities, we're seeing anywhere from just a trace to maybe an inch or two. And that's really going to be the extent of it. But again, that could create some travel concerns here if you're going to be traveling in the mountains here today, tomorrow, and even into your Friday. But for the rest of the afternoon, we're noticing really it's mainly over Scott Mountain that we're seeing the bulk of that snow, and of course over Lassen Peak and some of those higher snow passes or mountain passes that is here off east of I-5. But as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, here's tonight at 10 p.m. Now you can see Bogard Ranger Station. Now you're seeing Cedar Pass, seeing the potential for some heavier snow there. I-5 I think should be okay, and so should 299 west of Redding. But again, as we go into your Thursday morning at 8 a.m., now we're seeing the potential for some snow around I-5 near Mount Shasta City, but most likely more of a mix. There is a look at Buckhorn Summit. Doesn't look to be too terribly bad there. We may see a little bit of a mix there, but there you can see east of I-5. We're seeing a lot of those mountain passes, seeing the potential for some snow. All right, the winds are going to continue to be a factor here for this afternoon. Not as bad for the west, but there you can still see some gusty winds for parts of the valley, and not to mention in the eastern mountains. As we take you through the day on Thursday, the winds kind of subside for Thursday morning, but by Thursday afternoon, a little gusty at times on Thursday afternoon and into Thursday evening. Friday morning looks like a bit of a break, and then even into Friday afternoon, but still a little breezy out there, as you can see, about 10 to 15 miles per hour on Friday. There's the storm system impacting us today and tomorrow. This is a developing storm that'll be impacting our weather here by the time we get into Friday and the first half of the weekend. So let's take a look at that. Here's the storm here. Here's the cold front moving through today. As this low pressure system rides down to the south, we'll be looking at more showers as we go into your Thursday, and as I mentioned, maybe some thunderstorms as well. We've got a lot of colder air which is rotating around that area of low pressure. That cold and unstable air is what's going to help to generate some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Now, once this kind of moves down to the south, it will weaken, and then this storm here will begin to gain some strength. And as it does, it'll eventually be here by Friday, giving us that rain. The flow around that low will bring in the moisture coming in from the south and southeast. That'll be the case again as we go into your Saturday. As it shifts down to the south, more of that wraparound moisture coming into Northern California. But by Sunday, what we're seeing here is this. We have another area of low pressure that will develop. This is one of the factors and key factors to whether or not we'll see rain or even snow for that matter in the higher elevations. It is showing that on Easter Sunday there may be some snow flurries just to the south and east of the valley, say around Plumas County, for example, maybe seeing some of that snow. But really, I'm expecting maybe a chance for some showers by the time we get into Sunday afternoon. Still something I have to monitor here over the next day or two for those outdoor plans for Easter Sunday, but overall we're in that transition phase between the wetter and drier conditions here, because by the time we get into Monday, Tuesday of next week, that ridge of high pressure builds in. We're talking warmer temperatures, mid to upper 70s in the valley, as a matter of fact. So it's getting warmer by next week, and not to mention drier. But there you can see through next Tuesday, of course, really, we're not going to see any rain Monday or Tuesday. So really through this upcoming Saturday, we could see anywhere from, say, a ½ an inch to maybe even over an inch in the valley, most of it in Redding out towards the north end of the valley. And of course, a lot more rainfall along the coast, between 1 and even possibly over 2 inches of rain, and then of course less as you head off to the north and to the east. So for today, Showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast. Not as ominous as it looks, but I think some of us could hear a few rumbles of thunder. Otherwise, the rest of you just looking at those showers here throughout the rest of the afternoon and into tonight. Temperatures in the mid-50s for the valley and mid to upper 50s here for the coast as well. All right, so we take a look at our forecast here for the next 7 days. Looking at the valley, showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Showers off and on for Friday, Saturday, and as I mentioned, maybe into Sunday. But it's trending drier here for your Sunday, not to mention your Monday and Tuesday. For the coast and for Trinity County, showers and thunderstorms again today and tomorrow. More often on showers Friday, Saturday. Slimmer chances going into the second half of the weekend. And looking at your Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and Eastern Mountains neighborhood 7-day forecast. There you can see, of course, the chance for showers. Snow levels will eventually dip down to as low as 3,500 feet tomorrow. Could even get a little bit lower than that in some cases here. And then averaging between 4 and maybe even 5,000 feet for Friday, Saturday, and then drying out most likely by the end of the weekend and especially into early next week.